it's like it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Because when the era I grew up in, I got my ass whooped, bro. When I did something wrong, bro, I had to fear God of my people. Man, the whole community could whoop your ass. I got my ass whooped in school. When I got out of school, I got my ass whooped by my granddaddy, my grandmama. Then I got home to my mom. I got my ass whooped again. You know what I'm saying? Those ass whoopings made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? Did I make the same decisions over and over and over? You know what I'm saying? Right now, these days, the kids making the same mistakes over and over. You know what I'm saying? And as parents, we fear. You know what I'm saying? Putting our hands on our children or discipline our children, and we got these rules that handicap us from raising our children. You know what I'm saying? I ain't say go out and beat your kids. You know what I'm saying? I got whooped with extension cord shit. I got whooped whatever they grabbed and whooped my ass with. I ain't saying be abusive, bro, but it's a proper way to discipline a child, man. Ain't nothing wrong with taking the belt and put it on their booty, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? If they did something to the extent that they can jeopardize their life, you know what I'm saying? Jeopardize the life of you and someone else. You know what I'm saying? This is just different type of discipline, you know. And the kids know this, and they that's the first thing they'll threaten. I'm gonna call the police. You know, I don't care. Call the police. I'm whooping your ass. You ain't supposed to be doing this. You was a children. You're a child. You know what I'm saying? You know, with me and my girls, man, I tell my girls about every aspect of life, man. For real, man. From boys to what they should be doing, and how a woman conduct herself, man. You know what I'm saying? You young, you maybe think you in love, but the little boy don't want to know what's between your legs. Once we get it, we gone. You know what I'm saying? It's over with because we ain't in no commitment. We ain't in none of that. You know what I'm saying? I was young before. So, yeah, I had to go through a whole lot of things, man. It took me like 6, 7 months to see my little girls again, bro. I couldn't even be around 'em. You know what I'm saying? They was going to the schools and asking the teachers them have they come to the school beating and all that. That shit took a toll on me, man. I never experienced that in my life, man. But when I experienced it, man, I knew that I ain't had no control over my kids no more, bro. No matter what I say or do, I don't have no control because at any kind of moment they can call somebody and everything can change. I know this
A
for
fit,
a fact. I'm prime example.
a 50. Word up, my nigga. On some real shit, on some real G shit, my nigga. I'm sorry you even had to go through that. You feel me? On some
Yes,
real
sir.
shit. But guess what? You know what I'm saying? This what I see, right? Because see the diapers CPS thing growing up for me was a threat, but like you really had certain cases where children was getting abused. You know what I'm saying? And see, a lot of these agencies were slacking off. That's why I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe now that's why they so like stern with a threat, because before you would have kids even calling saying, yo, my mom's with my ass, and they come out, nothing ain't happen. Case closed. But now, you know what I'm saying? They come out, nigga, you got an open case for 90 days off rip, whether it's true or not. That case stays open for 90 days.
Full
And
investigation.
that's a fact. And see, that's the sad part. And see, parents don't want to go through that, and other people don't want to go through that. That's why I believe, you know what I'm saying, CPS has put that mark in people's head, pause like, yo, if they come through, I'm gonna be fucking with them. You know what? So I ain't even gonna worry about that shit. Some parents just say, fuck it. What can I do?
And another reason why I think it's flawed is because, now don't get me wrong, for like abused kids, yeah, it's needed. But on the flip side, them all in your business and can't really discipline your kids the way you want to, I think is really unfair because if if you don't do certain things and according to their regulations, like make sure your kids' attendance is good, shot records or what have you, you can be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for that. So it's like you got no control over your household and raising your kids, and it's not fair. Because how I'm going to control an unruly kid and make him go to school, and you know what I'm saying? You telling him that I can't do this and I can't do that to him. Like it's a double-edged sword and it's fucked up.
A pro, you want to know one of their rules, bro? One of their rules are a boy and a girl can't share a room. Now check this shit out. Growing up, nigga, we had a 2-bedroom apartment, living room, kitchen, 1 bathroom. We had my grandmother, my brother, me, my sister, and my 5 cousins. You know what I'm saying? And my mother was in and out. So check this out. How many is that? Five, three. That's 9 people. It's 10 people. Let's say 9 in one bedroom, and you might as well say 1 bedroom because my sister and my other 2 cousins, stayed in the room with my grandmother. Now you got 6 boys in one room. I slept on the couch in the living room. Fuck that. But we had 2 bunk beds and 2 twin beds in one room. That's not even allowed nowadays. You can't have a boy and a girl sharing a room. That's if you under the CPS thing, that will hinder you from your child even getting back into your same household as you. So now you stuck with trying to find a bigger apartment, and maybe you ain't even got the money to pay for that shit. So now guess what? That child is still in CPS care until you can raise the money or get the money to even find a bedroom to accommodate everybody. And nowadays, these apartments just for 2 bedrooms is in the 2 stacks. 1,800 to be nice. Let's be fair. Cut the number a little bit. Let's say 1,800. A lot of these families not even making that a month. So you see how the dynamics of these CPS cases and how they regulate certain things to keep the child away. Like that's a fucked up thing. Like that's a fucked up feeling to be a parent and you can't get your child because you can't afford to have your child put up. That's crazy, bro. It's sad too, man. Word up, but it's a reality though, cause niggas go through it. I hear the stories a lot, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This shit crazy.
Okay, okay.
That's terrible.
Let me we like to break research down over here into CMB. So it says research shows that black parents are often held to different standards. According to proceedings of the National Academy of Science of the United States of America's 2021 study, risks of having a CPS investigations were highest for black children, 43.2% to 72.0%. Black children also experience high rates of later stage CPS contact, with rates often above 20% for confirmed maltreatment, 10% for foster care placement, and 2% for termination of parental rights. The study concluded that black families across the United States have a higher likelihood of being investigated for neglect, especially if they come from economical marginalized communities. Many institutions in the United States express dedication to protecting families, but for people of color and particularly black people, protection continues clinical punishment and discrimination. From mandated reporting to black infant mother mortality rates, both statistically and socially, the odds are not in the black mother's favor.
I, I, I I don't I don't want to go off subject right here, brother. but I wanna share my thought. So when you join somebody, uh, whoever is the when you join somebody, somebody has to be the leader, right? So when Martin Luther King wanted us to join them, we put them in power, and now they got all these programs that's over us. Now we all black in this room. I'm gonna tell you right now, every whooping my grandma gave me, I deserve. I deserved it. I was bad. I know I got my ass whooped. And it helped me in the long run. But now we got overseers, in my opinion, want to tell us how we need to raise our kids, and
Off.
we killed our schools to join their schools, and I think all this is a part of all them problems, man. That's just my opinion. Like, I feel like we never needed to join you. We just needed rights. Like, so y'all wouldn't hurt us. But we didn't need to join you, drop what we had going on, cancel our schools to join y'all, because when we did that, it put us in all the situation that we're going through today.
That's what's up, and you know what I'm saying. you know what I'm saying. We respect your feedback, Philly. You know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, what Stu just read proved my point of the story. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bro, it's hard out here. You know what I'm saying? And just to get a CPS case hanging over your head, pause, like, yo, that makes it even 2 times worse. And that's a lot of pressure for a parent, man. Especially if a parent is doing the right thing. You get what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. For real.
Man, it's super
I'm gonna throw
crazy.
something out there. Go ahead, go ahead.
Hey, I
Nah,
got
Joe,
one
go
for
ahead,
you.
bro. Oh, go.
My
My bad.
bad.
Nah,
No,
what
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, dealing with CPS, God forbid, let's say a kid get put in the system, right? This kid that they put in the system, they getting away from a quote unquote bad home, right? But they get put in the system, they get put in a worse situation. Like the kids that get put in the CPS system, it's not all peaches and cream when they get in the systems when they supposedly getting away from these bad families they took them away from. They put these kids with other kids. Next thing you know, they just there. Or they might get put into a foster care home with other kids with the woman or the father or the parents just got these kids just to make money off of. So it's a crazy little trend that goes downwards afterwards when they take the kid out the household. So it's a confusion, and I think it was purposely done. Like, so I would never understand that route. If you take a kid out of bad household and you put them in a worse situation in the system.
Because it's a great
Hey,
business. That's what it is. It's a
hey,
business.
hey, man. That's what I want to talk about. The flip side of that shit. The ugly. How many times you done heard stories on this stage about
I
people in
was
foster
50.
care?
I swear I was thinking the same thing.
And that's just bringing. I wish she come back in the room right now, cause that shed light on that shit, like knock the dust off that motherfucker shit, man. But for real, the dog side of that shit, man. These kids weren't experiencing no molestation or none of that shit. They just bad. They probably was getting a little whooping. When they go to them places and start getting molested and abused and all that shit worse, they wish they would never did what they did to their parents or whoever called. Like they hate the world. Like I was in a better situation over here. I come over here and I'm just like in hell. How many times we done heard them stories, bro? We done been in school with kids, man, and talking about the foster care system, bro.
50. What about a story we heard on the stage about the kids with burning the what was
Cigarette
it?
butts and
Yeah,
all that.
remember that?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That shit real, man. And they know it's real. They know it. And they still be putting these kids in these places, man.
Reason I brought this
Instead
up,
of
Phil.
instead of making the state of the art facilities in the state that they can be run right and be treated properly, they took that away. They just started getting kids to anybody, man.
I appreciate that what you're saying right there, 50. If anybody familiar with Oklahoma, in Oklahoma they have nations, which are tribes, right? When the white man try to take one of their
He
kids,
in Oklahoma.
they intervene. They can't even take their kids. They got to give them back to the Choctaw Nation, and the Choctaw Nation places them with family, right? So the only kids that can get took in the state of Oklahoma is Spanish kids, black kids, and white kids. You try to take one of those Indian kids, the Indian Nation jumps right in there, boom, pull them and put them with their families, and then they work it out amongst their people. And to other people, use this practices like us black people. We need to build a foundation to where we have that same power and quit putting that in the responsibility of white people's hand. Because I really feel like they don't care about us. I mean, history tells me that. So that's why I think the broken system comes in there. That's just my opinion.
Anybody in here grow up under like the system, like as a foster child or anything like that?
Hey Eddie, I'm going through something right now with my wife's cousin's kid. My wife's cousin, he passed away 2 years ago. His grandmother got the child. Now she moved to Massachusetts. She was living in Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Uh, so he went to school. The teacher tried to talk to his grandmother. The grandmother's deaf. So the grandmother called DCF, which is what we have in Massachusetts, and they said that because she's deaf, she can't take care of that child. Now, so they took the child away 2 months ago. I've gone to court 3 times trying to get him. I cannot get him because I have a 19-year-old son that he'll be sharing the bedroom with. Because my son's 19, he can't come share a room. So
Damn.
that's just the bullshit. Once DCF gets your kid, you're fucked for life. You ain't getting them, and now they want to know everything that I did, like my speeding tickets, everything.
That's a
So now
fact,
my
Kevin.
son has to. So now my son, I gotta kick my son out of the house because he's an adult in order for this kid to come live with me. When all this kid got taken away for is because the grandma is deaf and she can't properly take care of the son because she's deaf. So I get it's all bullshit. This whole friggin' government shit, it's all garbage. She never laid a hand on him, nothing. All because she's deaf.
And that's fucked up. And you know what's crazy? You know what else is crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? I had some homies that went through it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all, they never stuck it out. They always ran away. You know what I'm saying? Like they never stayed put in the system because the system, you know what I'm saying? The system uh basically fucked them. You know what I'm saying? Pause. And they didn't wanna be a part of the abuse that they was getting from this, so niggas ran away from that. And so at that time, that's why I equate a lot of the you know what I'm saying, gang banging and niggas gravitating to the streets more because of the system. Because that system is so flawed. And I'm only speaking from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of people, a lot of people I've come across in my lifetime have said the same thing. They get in these homes, they get in these, you know what I'm saying, foster care, these group homes, and they getting treated worse than they was when they was with their parents or their guardian. You know what I'm saying? And it's a trick bag. It's a real it's I think it's a nationwide flawed trick bag because They get these kids, they put them in the system, they fuck over them basically, and then they say, you know what? They run away, fuck them, because they only do a 30-day investigation to find a kid. If they don't, they wipe their hands with it and they leave it up to the discretion of the police to find a child. 9 times out of 10, they not gonna find them because you know what? They not gonna be where they think. They not gonna go back to their parents. They not gonna go back to, you know what I'm saying, other family members. They gonna go right back. They gonna go to the streets because they feel like they getting the love that they always wanted from the streets. Because if you hear some of these dudes' stories, the brotherhood that they felt from the hood and from banging, they thought that was more to life to them than what they was getting at home. Think about that. You feel me?
Um, I know my grandmother was a foster care provider. Like I know y'all heard me talking about my uncles and shit like that. They're not really my uncles. My grandmother adopted them, and they used to tell us stories about how they used to get hung, like literally hung, literally beaten. Like it was to the point where when they came to my grandmother's crib, they used to steal food. And my grandma used to have to talk to them like, "Yo, when you here, you don't have to steal food. Like it's here, it's yours. I brought it for us to eat." But they were so programmed and so used to the abuse he was getting, like that's all they knew was just sneaking the back door. This is still something simple as an orange. Like you know what I'm saying? An orange. But that's what they was known, and ever since then, you know what I'm saying, like we click. You know what I'm saying, like we close and shit, but they'll tell you the stories like that shit was so heartbreaking. Like it was just like crazy, bro.
Yo, let me tell a nigga something, man. It's wild. It's see, to have a family structure and to hear your homeboy say to you, yo, I get more love in the hood than I do at home, or I do from here, or there or from there. That's heartbreaking, bro. Because the reason why I say it is because they don't know or they haven't experienced real love from family. They experiencing love from outsiders, basically strangers. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a way to grow up. You know what I'm saying? That's why and see, that's why I feel like a lot of these kids out here you know, some of my people back in the day, that's why they crash out so quick. Because they don't know. They wasn't taught the right way. You get what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I could say I was blessed to have my grandmother. Because I believe if I didn't have her, I probably would have been my sister, my brother. We would have been in CPS. My cousins would have been in CPS, and I know that for a fact because for one, my uncles they was in and out of jail. My mother she was young. My grandmother was a grandmother at 37. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? 37, you starting to live your life, but she out working, doing her thing, raising these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like they hers. So it's crazy because we always go with the you know kids raising kids, but my thing is at 37 you just starting to really live life to try to enjoy life and raising your own kids. But guess what? Your kids got kids, and that was the trend. That was the trend. The trend was no father, grandmother raising us, house full of people. You know what I'm saying? No privacy. You know what I'm saying? No you time. You was lucky to be in the house by yourself. You know what I'm saying? It was easy for you to be out late because guess what? Grandma gotta get up for work the next day. She ain't worried about if you sleep or not. She gotta get up to take care of the house. So she not guarding the doors, who's coming in and out. You know what I'm saying? And that was a lot of niggas' story. But the CPS thing, You know, you hear these other stories because you see it. Like you see it, you hear it. You see these motherfuckers pull up in the Dodge in them Dodge joints. I forgot the Dodge Plymouth joints. 4 door. You knew who that was. You knew that was Dyfus coming to check up on somebody. Now they got the vans, they got the caravans now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, like this story of the
CPS ruined the black families, man. It
Continue, Brick.
never
We'll listen.
fails. It never fails, though. It never fails, bro. On
So I
fuel.
want to throw this out there. I ain't gonna speak for too long, but respect to everybody for putting the truth out there. We all benefiting from it. Real talk. I want to throw this out there. I got a friend who, she got a few kids. They all live in the house with her. She got a jealous family member, like a kind of jealous, sneaky, like they kind of, it might be a cousin or whatever the case may be. She got a jealous family member who then called the CPS on her. It went about 6, 7, 8 months. CPS was coming by her house unexpectedly, just knocking on the door, just walking around, seeing what was going on, all because of this one phone call. And then they wound up eventually closing the case, but that was a lot of stress. Do y'all feel like the vetting process for CCS is, or excuse me, CPS is they a little too gung ho? Like they don't really be even checking what's going on, or do y'all feel like it's valid how they go about their business?
I think it depends on what type of caseworker you got.
hey,
So some people go harder than others.
hey, Black, I'm gonna
Correct.
say this. I'm gonna say this, right, Black? Like I said this earlier. See, the CPS thing wasn't really a serious thing back in the day. But because of them not following up on real cases, that's when the crackdown began. Like the automatic 90-day, you know what I'm saying, under the supervision, you know what I'm saying, or the cases stayed open for 90 days thing because you had real cases of kids being locked in fucking basements.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people call and like, yo, I believe they doing something to this child. CPS go check up on it. They think everything is okay, but guess what? Soon as they leave, it's right back downstairs. You know what I'm saying? And that shit right there because we in the hood we have a few cases where these kids that has happened to these kids and these kids have died. So that's where the crackdown began, I believe, especially in Jersey with the 90-day thing, because they were so lenient. They walk around, they see everything is okay, they walk away and they write it off. So, you know what I'm saying? I believe they have to stay on top of these things because of certain cases. Not all, but certain cases. You know what I'm saying? Certain cases made it rough for you to be just to be have a phone call. And I'm gonna land on that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brick. CPS is needed sometimes, and sometimes over exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, we all done heard the horror stories. I done went somewhere burying cable, and I'm like, yo, how the fuck do they got these kids living like this? You know what I'm saying? That's a condition where CPS was needed. So we can't just look at the the bad side. Sometimes it got some good in it, but you know what I'm saying. But like I read, the numbers don't do good on black people.
What's up, family? Top of the top. I see y'all cooking this morning. What I
You go. Yeah, I don't like to get too personal with these kind of stories, but I'm gonna just give you a rundown of some shit that I done been through. So not necessarily me, but around my situation. So nowadays they will how would you what's the first trimester, whatever, whatever. So say if your girl smoked weed and find out she was pregnant, stopped immediately. She's gonna have a piece of strand or something in her stomach when that baby first shit. And when they do that, they're gonna find out, oh, they gonna think you smoking, you know what I'm saying? And so just imagine if you black, they're gonna really press your ass.
Damn.
That's crazy.
100%.
100%. And I read it to somebody
That's
recently.
true.
They
That
had
shit true.
they I'm sorry.
That shit true. For
Yeah,
real.
recently I ran into
They
somebody. They
come. They
had
coming.
opioids in their shit from the first. They was hooked on some shit and found out, got off of it. But it's that first. If you when you have a child, they're gonna take that baby's first shit and sample it. I'm sure Miss Butter in the building. She probably can. I don't know if she know anything on
Question.
that.
I'm like, but how do they get the baby shit if it's in the stomach? I'm, I'm asking the question.
Well, I done had 3 children, so I know when you first get that child, they can handle all that first action. You know what I'm saying?
They don't take it in the womb, Springfield. They take the first diaper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My bad, my
The
bad.
meconium is what it's called.
There
Take
it
your
is.
baby.
There it is.
They take your baby. They take your whole baby away from you. They do everything. They take it. You don't get your baby right away. They go take it and do what they gotta do, then they come back and bring it to you.
Yeah, that's how babies get mixed up. Remember we read this shit before.
I told y'all that's how they told me that they didn't have a black baby in the nursery.
Whoa. But Miss Bud, I don't know if you heard me read earlier. They said that CPS was getting involved with fetal deaths. So I don't know what the hell was going on with that, but it's some shit that black women got to deal with.
From my understanding, it's more so with people who having like kids back to back, or like if a doctor tells you you really don't need to have this child, but you proceed anyway, and the child dies. From what
Mm,
I've read about it, that's pretty much what they're trying to get involved with, because at that point you're not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting that child and everybody else, because when they tell you 9 times out of 10 it's because you can't, they don't feel like you can carry the baby effectively, but then afterwards you deal with postpartum depression.
mm.
And
So
then
it's more
you
so
take
one of those things, it's more so one of those things like they told you, you didn't listen, now you getting consequences. From my understanding. But I could be wrong. I'm still looking into it.
well, that's dictatorship. They trying to put a control on the kids. Most people they say that too, man. They come out with having healthy kids.
It sound like to me they trying to force black mothers into more abortions because they gonna be like, oh, your kid not help. You know what I'm saying? It ain't healthy for you to have this kid. Get rid of it type shit.
Yeah, now that y'all say that, there's a lot of people out here, they'll just tell me, oh yeah, I was born something ounces. I was born premature this, and they just look completely healthy now. So, you can never really tell, I guess.
Down here, they wait until you have it. They right there at the hospital. Gone. Took your kid.
Hey yo, but look, check it out. And part of my ignorance, but I thought the parent, like the mother, had to like she had to display some like drug abuse or anything like that first before they even did anything like that. Cause I'm gonna be real, I got three myself. Now I don't know if they did that without me of us knowing, but you know what I'm saying? Like that was never a case where they told us they had to do that before anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like I
Now,
said,
Brick,
part of my
when you
ignorance.
come in there and sign your paper, when y'all sign that shit, you signed everything
Yeah.
over to them, bro.
And you know what's crazy, Stu? I just remember I was preaching war to the state, right? And joint custody. Remember I was preaching that. I found all that out then, bro. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all don't go sign them papers, your child ain't yours. That's crazy.
Sign it, but they was like, you gotta sign it, or you can't have it, or they not gonna have his child.
Yep. If you don't sign it, the CPS will come get your kid before you leave the hospital.
They be when them women go for them little checkups during the pregnancy, getting their blood work done, checking up on them. Man, they checking for all that right then. So
Mhm.
soon as that doctor pull that baby out, it's over with.
Already got your information.
See how wicked this system play with motherfuckers, man. And we don't even know. You know what I'm saying? That's why on some real shit. I'm being honest right now. That's why we need joints like this to pass on the information that some of us don't know. Because it's been conversations that we have had here that niggas was just put on to. You know what I'm saying? And niggas is well over past 35. You know what I'm saying? And like that shit shouldn't be
That's
like that.
facts.
So this is this is this is what, you know what I'm saying, how vital stuff like this is. Because now we got what, 22 people 22 people on the stage, right? Now 22 people go tell two people. You know what I'm saying? And them two people go tell two people. That's how information gets spreaded, man. And that's what we need, man. Because we gotta stop being blind to the bullshit. Right, Ray? You know what I'm saying? Gotta stop being blind to the bullshit, man. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? We gotta champion us. And I scream that a lot about us because that's all we got at the end of the day. Because we can't rely on them. If we do, we be fucked up. You feel me?
I
So,
promise, I just knew about that whole shit that student's talking
mhm.
about. That's crazy.
And it's sad.
And I
It's
got
sad.
four. I got four.
Yeah, yeah. It's sad too because guess what? A mother could be pregnant and have taken something that she didn't know had something in it, and now she got a case. She can't take her child home.
Hey,
Sad.
Brick, you know how many girls I know smoke weed during their pregnancy?
Bro, let me tell you, you want to hear some crazy shit? Knew this girl had two kids. Her son, first one, she ain't smoke weed with. That nigga little, you know what I'm saying, touched by an angel. But her second one, her daughter, she smoked weed. She smoked weed and got high for other shit. Her daughter is honor roll. She's gifted and talented. She's special. Skipping grades. So you see how that worked, bro? Like that's crazy. You would have thought that the boy would be like that and the girl would be like he is. But it's totally opposite. Word up. That shit crazy.
But it also has a lot to play with your doctor while you're pregnant, because I tested positive for opioids, but I went through a phase where I was eating poppy seed bagels. And if
I
you
just
eat
heard
too
about that.
many, man, you eat too many of them, it comes back as an opioid. But I had a team of my color and Hispanic doctors. I had a team of midwives, 9 to be exact. And they all was like, no, no, no. Test it again. Test it again. Tested it again. It came back positive again. And she came in my room and she was like, before I file this paperwork, I need you to be 100% honest with me. What's up? Because this not like you. And I'm like, y'all know me. I ain't even playing like that. She asked me what I was eating. Like, what was my cravings at the moment? And when I told her, she was like, okay, cool. My paperwork never got filed. But it was the communication. I had that line of communication because I went to people who look like me versus just going with anybody. So they understood. Let me talk to her first before these papers get filed, because once these papers get filed, now she got to deal with the state the whole time.
Yep. Imagine how many just would have said, fuck that.
And most people don't even know something as small as a bagel could show up in your system as opioids.
That is wild biscuits.
It's going down Chinatown, man. But yeah, man. Salute to you, Miss Butter. You know what I'm saying? Real moms out here. I salute all the real parents out here. You know what I'm saying? Salute everybody who is parents, man, who stay away from that shit, man. Cause I'm telling you, man, like I've never gone through it. You know what I'm saying? Like my family now hasn't gone through it, but I've seen it growing up, and it's not a pretty sight, man. For real, it's not pretty at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just trying a little new little wave right here. Hope everybody enjoying the ride because we rolling with you or without you.
We are
Shout
rolling.
out to everybody. Hey, I was just doing random shit, looking up when child protective services first started. It was put in by Congress in 1980. They passed it in 1980. So that's when it
Yeah, they
started.
ain't have it before that.
They
I
probably
don't
had another term word for it, but the official act for child protective service started in 1980 in the
hey
1980s.
hey hey Kadar, and to answer your question, bro, I don't think so. I
Oh,
swear to
okay.
God, I don't think. You know why I say that? And again, part of my ignorance, I could be wrong, but that shit was running rampant in the 80s. That's when you heard diapers, you heard that with the kids and the parents, and it's like they didn't care if you called, but it's like now, and I don't know if it was because it was fairly new. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, cause I don't remember hearing my uncles talk about shit like that. I remember hearing them talk about that shit when I was young in the 80s. So, you know.
Oh shit. The flip side of this, when they passed this, they said this is for to keep families together and keep kids in the household basically. Whatever. But
And they
they wrote it. They made an act and did the opposite.
they did the
That's
exact
some
Exactly
cap.
the opposite.
that's some crazy. And you know those checks be biased. Cause like y'all said, the numbers look worse in our community. Man, you know, 9 times out of 10, if a CPS worker go into a black household, they gonna be looking at it with an extra high eye than they would a white household. That's the bullshit. Who knows what they got in that white household? Got drugs, niggas coming in and all out the house, touching on the kid. You never know. But because we black, they gonna
Wow.
look at us under a certain telescope.
Hey Dave, it's a lot of stories with the white kids dying from eating like gummies and shit, the edibles and shit like that. It's a lot of that going on, or them eating dope. Period.
That's crazy. So we having all of these, not we, but they releasing all of these edibles and different types of ways to take drugs. Should be laying around the house. It's legal. Who knows? Kids stumble upon it. You know, in a black
I think
household, we not
I think it's carelessness on the parents' part.
facts.
You know why I say it's carelessness? Because I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna be open and honest with y'all. I never had like this is for my son, you know what I'm saying? Because he the oldest and he been through he been through, you know what I'm saying? He been through it more than my daughters. Put it like that, right? But I never had that stuff around him. He didn't see a gun. You know what I'm saying? He didn't see any drugs, allegedly. He didn't see none of that because I didn't want to expose him to that. You know what I'm saying? And now you have a lot of these parents who don't care because of what we said earlier. We got parents that's getting high with the kids, that's exposing them to, you know what I'm saying, a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be for kids. So it's like, all right, we got one parent that's going off the wham wham, and we got the edibles laid out. That they thinking it's a brownie to eat. You know, kids, they gonna explore. They gonna take the brownie. They gonna take the cookie. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like, yo, who? It's it is the parents' fault, and I don't get mad when they get caught because you shouldn't be careless with your child. Because what if that child would have ate all the edibles? Like Young was saying, these kids they eat all the edibles and they
To
gone.
add on top, Rick is having holographic, colorful packaging, cartoons on the packaging. Shit look like
And that
candy.
attracts the child. That attracts the child even more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
Yeah, I got that paragraph in my PTR. If you click on it or whatever, that contradicting shit they said.
So let me ask y'all this: y'all think, reading that we bringing up kids smoking with the parents? I remember my first time getting locked up for weed. I was 16, and my mother told me, she said, "Look, I know you probably gonna smoke anyway. Just smoke in the house. I'd rather you smoke in the house than be out in the street where the police could put their hands on you." What age do y'all think is appropriate now that weed's being legalized up through all the states? What age do y'all think is appropriate for the youth to smoke weed?
I'm gonna say the age where you find out for sure that your kid is smoking. And I know that sound a little crazy, but for me, motherfuckers is playing with the weed now. I'd rather just give the shit to my kid. Now I ain't smoking it with him, but I'd rather give it to him and let him smoke in a safe environment.
They gotta be past 18, bro, because if he doing this shit while he in school and he end up telling his friends, "Oh, I smoke with my pops," they gonna come get.
Nah, but see, I say smoke. I don't smoke with my kids. And like for example, like right now, my daughter, she not 18. She just turned 17. But my thing is, I know she and she gonna smoke. So I gotta make sure that, you know what I'm saying, she's smoking some shit that ain't been fucked with. Because if she go out here and get some shit, they got some shit sprinkled on it, and something happened to her, like how can I forgive myself knowing?
I
Hey,
agree with you, Provost. I
Hey, I'm
I
gonna
am
throw.
on that
My bad.
bandwagon.
go
I'm
ahead.
50,
I'm,
50.
I'm just gonna throw something else out there. Like the state I was just recently in, it was medical there. And the reason they got passed in Oklahoma at the time I was there is because a lot of kids with seizures, and they was tired of giving them the medicine they was doing. So that's how Oklahoma got pushed to be medical, basically because of kids with seizures. And so when the medical marijuana got passed, all them kids that had seizures, they gave them edibles and marijuana products and dab pens and stuff. So I was seeing kids 12, 13 with them, and it was legal. They literally had their own cars, but they had their parents' name on, But the parents had to buy it for them, but it's legal. So in certain states, if your kid have certain issues and it's legal.
Just for the record, it was helping them too with them seizures.
Actually, if you look at research now, they're trying to say cannabis help with everything, even as small as ADHD. So when we talk about, oh, what's the proper age? Like you said, it's 12-year-olds walking around having seizures that's doing it on a regular, that went from having 50 seizures a day to now having two in a week.
Amen.
Facts.
So when we
Oh
talk
yeah.
about, oh, should we do this with our kids? If my child is 16 years old and I know for a fact this motherfucker got ADHD, because my son does have ADHD. This motherfucker got ADHD, and I know for a fact he smoked. I'm with Pro Balls. I'll buy it because it's too many people putting fentanyl in this stuff and cocaine and lacing they stuff and giving it to our children. I'll rather know for a fact this some pure weed than my child just random out here getting it from random people and he don't know what he's smoking.
I respect that 100%.
Yes, indeed.
They playing with the weed. Who
But
would have
just think
thought?
think about this.
We
If you let your child go out there and search for it, they gonna run into some whole other shit they ain't got no reason to running into.
Uh huh.
Facts.
They're gonna run
So
into the wrong
your
crowd,
child,
give them the wrong thing, and take the wrong thing. I
so
know somebody who
your
got laced.
child,
He was at a party smoking, and the nigga got laced. He has never came back. He is still fucked up, bro.
Yeah, that
your
shit
child,
fucked their brains up. But you remember
your
I
ch-
told you I had over here in Greensboro, North Carolina, them motherfuckers was putting rat poison in that shit. That shit was killing people.
yeah, your
That
child.
rat poison dangerous.
Yeah, your child should never have to hide nothing. I mean, that's his home as well as your home. So when you restrict your child from doing something, we all human. What do? He go in the streets to find a way to get away, to be able to do what he likes. And then that opens up all the shit y'all talking about. Rat poison in you weed, cocaine in you
Mm-mm.
weed, fentanyl in you weed. When you could have just made a simple decision. Hey, don't smoke in my front room. Smoke in your room, in your own privacy. I'd rather you be here where I can watch over you and take care of you than you run into the streets where the streets has no love. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I think that, and two, we also have to remember that our black and brown children are targeted any fucking way.
Woo, there it
So
is.
if my son out here feel like, oh, I can't go to Mama Butter and smoke cause she gon' da 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 da. That mean he walking outside with it on him. No, baby, I take that charge. You stay your ass at home because you are my future. You are the future of the United States. So whenever it's all said and done, nah. Like I said, I'm with Pro Bulls. I'll provide.
And that's exactly how my mother told me, because it did happen when I first got arrested. Yeah,
Me
I was
too,
too
Dave.
young to actually get arrested. But we had that conversation right there. She said, look, I know it's going to happen, but I'd rather you do this in the safe of the house where I can look over you and make sure this is straight. Same thing.
And that shit come with a lot of responsibility. Like Young was saying, what if the kid go and tell somebody? But you know what? It starts with the relationship and the conversations you have and the trust that you establish with your kid. You know, we had a whole long, drawn out 2-day conversation before I say, look, you get weed, you come get it from me. And I don't give a fuck how much you need. Even if I cap you off, you come to me first.
100%. So check this out. I had the opposite. My dad didn't want that shit. Get that shit out of here. I'm talking about, I started smoking weed at 13, so I had to hide it. But he learned through me when before he passed away, my little brother was smoking at the house. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But I couldn't hate on it because, you know, my little brother was safe. And to this day, he ain't got no F. Like I caught charges off the rip just from, like Miss Butter saying, being targeted.
It's like you had to go through it so he could experience it. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to
100%.
go through all of the trials and tribulations of life for them to actually see. No, it's best for us to actually just say, you know what? Be in the house. You got to be outside with it. Police circling the block, looking at you every time, stop and frisk. That was going on heavy. The stop and frisk. So yeah, we being targeted at an all-time high, and that's not gonna stop. So that trust between you and your parent, or you and your child, that's everything right there.
It's that communication day. You know what I'm saying? Like that communication gotta be there with your kids, man. Even though, like I said, you know, me and my son, I feel like we got a great relationship. But I have a better relationship with my daughters because I've been there since day one. You know what I'm saying? It's like I tell them, listen, bro, you know what I'm saying? You can talk to me about anything because I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to, nigga, I'd rather you, you know what I'm saying, do this in the house than go to her house.
Go outside looking for the bullshit.
And that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Because I kept it 100 with him. You know what I'm saying? I told him the stories, being 15, 16, running up out of houses because the moms or the pops popped up, ready to take my head off because I'm
Ooh.
smashing their daughter. So to prevent that from happening to you, because you gotta know your child. I know my child not built like that. You know what I'm saying? He could defend himself. He could fight his ass off, but he not built like that. You know what I'm saying? So I know. Listen, son. I know you scratching your balls, Paul, and they itching, and you ready to go. But I'd rather you be here. Don't tell your mother. It's between me and you. Do what you do when we at work. Make sure you don't do nothing crazy. Get up out of here before we get home. And real shit, to be honest, he started a little late, all right? But he did it about two or three
Started.
times. He, he did it about two or three times, and he said, I don't even feel right doing it when y'all not here. So, you know, I respect him for that. But you know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta you gotta just have that line of communication for your child, for real.
Communication is very important.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I feel like as a generation, even though it's multiple generations on this platform, but we've all come to the conclusion that when we were children, we were seen and not heard. We didn't have that open communication with our parents where we could be like, oh, this what this what I want to do, you know, XYZ. We've all opened that communication with our children to be able for them to be able to say, hey, listen, this what it is. You might not like it, but I'm telling you. And that's where it starts.
That's a good
Butter,
one.
that's so true. And you know what's crazy? I had this conversation with my wife yesterday, and it kind of got heated. But the fact that the point that I was trying to make to her is that whole parent thing, universal parent thing, do as I say, not as I do. That shit never worked. It didn't work then, and it damn sure ain't working now.
No, you gotta have that transparency with your kids. Like, They gotta understand that you're a real human. Like, don't get me wrong, my stepson tell me every day you're a superhero. Like, that's how I feel about you. You're a superhero because you do so much for so many people.
I ain't gonna lie. Well, as a child raising up, thinking about it now, it was meant to be that way. But at the end of the day, most of us were raised on a dictatorship. Most of us. And if you have children now, you probably like, well, I'm gonna do the same thing. Have a dictator. This day and age here, like y'all said, you have to have open communication. We didn't. I know me personally, I didn't have open communication with my parents like that. It was shut the fuck up and do what I say.
And say
You
what?
know, yeah, yeah, that way. So now it's more. We have to have, like y'all said, a better communication with the kids, open than like what it was back then, because there's so much things out here now that they can get a hold to. It's better off that you tell yours first before somebody outside tell them.
That's a fact, Joe. And I just wanted to speak to Dave's point about, having that safe space to smoke. Like my mom's wasn't having it, but I got a brother from another mother, and she understood the streets a little bit more than my mother, who was from down south. You know what I'm saying? So she gave us the space in the basement to be able to smoke, chill. You know what I'm saying? We had a safe place. Otherwise, we could have been anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that helped keep us out of trouble, bro.
Yes,
Having that,
indeed.
relationship with your parent. I have a 24-year-old daughter, and I'm blessed to say that we could talk about life, you know what I'm saying, without having to do parent child thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing. So you just got to be available because there's so much information available to them. When they don't understand something, you want them to come and gain understanding from you. So you can't be closed minded. So I just try to keep an open, optimistic view so that, they will be able to come to me to gain understanding. So, salute to the stage, man. It's a great conversation.
Hey Chico,
Well
and
said,
look,
my brother.
and Chico, especially with the girls, those conversations. I don't know how you might react, brother. My 16-year-old, that shit made me cringe. My feet be balling in my sneakers, bro. Because I be like, "Grr," but I can't lash out because I don't want her to fear telling me certain things. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you don't,
So
you
it's
don't
like,
want her to close down.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
totally understand. And it's a difference for me because I raised my 24-year-old in the house with me. Now, my
mm,
16-year-old, most of her life has been raised with her mom since we split, right? And it's a difference. You know what I'm saying? So I have to accept some of the yeses that she gives, right? Like, because it's a co parenting thing. And I don't want, like I told her, she got her hair pink. She just showed up with a nose ring. I say, you sure with a tattoo, I'm gonna kill you, right? And like I told her, it's cute and I like it. The only problem I have from it is I didn't know that you were getting it or that you had it, right? So it's very important to keep your daddy in the loop. So I keep the communication over, and I ain't gonna sound pissed about the nose ring. I'm just pissed the fact that you don't feel the need to inform me that you about to get a nose ring. Oh, mama said yes, right? So I definitely know where you're at with this 16-year-old, and they have way more information. She had an iPhone at 12. My 24, you know what I'm saying? She didn't get herself. I think she had an iPhone at fucking 8, 10, something like that. My other one didn't get one until she was an actual teenager, right? So it's just way more information, and you gotta keep the open, the back and forth. I don't want to go crazy because she'll shut down. You know what I'm saying? And she's not in my house, so I can't have that. So I definitely understand the sweet 16. It is serious.
see with her, I'm like this. Now you can tell me what you need to tell me, but She knowing if she about to go overboard because I give her that look. You know what I'm saying? My look, man, my feet is already balled up, crunched up, but I give her that look. She know, oh, I ain't gonna say too much because you know what I'm saying. I'm already making them mad. So now I mean, and again, my 16-year-old, that's my homie. That's we two peas in a pod. We look alike, we act alike, we talk alike, but it's just like God damn. But I remember when I was 16 though.
You got to, bro. I be telling my sister that sometimes, like, you don't remember what you was doing at 21? They ain't nowhere near what you. We had fifths in the car. We had blunts. We was like, come on, man. Like, give 'em a break now. Come on, remember those days, right? So, an apple never falls far from the tree. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's a good point, Chico. That's a damn good point right there.
Yeah, parents kill me when they grow up. Now they saints. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, man, kids gonna be kids, right? I don't overreact to a kid being a kid, right? It's really just about learning experiences, and they gonna fuck up, bro. As long as you get in your head that kids is gonna fuck up, then you be alright, right? You just don't want them to, what I'm saying, get out there and do nothing that's going to affect their future. You know what I'm saying? But kids are going to be kids because we talked about this before. Your friend's voice is louder than yours. I don't give a fuck how close you is. There's a point where they're going to go out there and they're going to learn some shit from their friends and they're going to trust their friends and they going to need their friends and they're going to listen to their friends, right? But you want to make sure that that voice is always in their head. So when it comes to that moment, they say, hey, Doe, let me out.
Facts. 100%, Chico.
Yeah, you right on that. Cause at the end of the day, this might sound crazy. You gotta let them bump their head sometimes. You got to, where they can understand how this world really go. Cause if you keep them in a nice bubble and you take that bubble off and like, here you go into the world, be all you can be. That's gonna, that's when that ear start going to everywhere. Who else talking to and whoever they like to hear, you know. So I I honestly believe there's nothing wrong letting them know. Like what you say, they kids, they gonna they gonna get into some shit. Just when it's said and done, be like, what did you learn from that?
But see, I left Detroit
Experience
though.
is the
I knew I
best
couldn't
teacher.
raise kids in Detroit. So I moved to the super suburbs out in Duluth, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So I raised my daughter out there. But there was a negative side. She was, oh, everyone's my best friend and oh, the world is so beautiful. I'm like, it ain't that they ain't all your friends, Diamond. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when me and her mother split, her mother decided to move back to the slums. Don't ask me why. She then had to, ended up finishing high school in Detroit. And she has a balance now because she quickly went from peaches and roses, everybody my friend, to these motherfuckers evil. You know what I'm saying? So it gave a good balance. You know what I'm saying? Because the suburbs did make her, it gave her a false reality of the world. You know what I'm saying? When she got back to the hood, that was the dipping the baby in the cold water because it woke her right up to, yeah. Once they stole her iPhone, she like, fuck these bitches. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta try to teach them the good and the bad, man, even though it's hard to discuss like current events. I would suggest like once your kid's old enough, talk to them about some of the headlines and shit, like how they feel and what they think and what your friends talking about, especially when it came to a lot of this killing of us. So, it's important.
Now, y'all parents, I me personally, I'm not a parent, but I got a lot of god kids and a lot of nieces and nephews. But I understand that it probably be hard to be like, man, I am not putting my kid out there to witness pain or anything like that, you know. But if they don't experience it when you around, how would they accept it if they experience it and you not around? You know what I'm saying? So That's always something I always think about. It's like I agree with you, Chico. Like so,
Well said, y'all. Well said. So, by what a takeaway I'm taking from this is that it's better to brace them for reality rather than candy coated. When they experience it on their own, they know how to deal with it rather than have it kind of hit them while they unexpected. You know what I'm saying?
as Stu would say, 100%, right? Because even though you are okay, our parents used to nag at us, don't do the blah 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 blah. We'd be like, right. But when we got out there in the field, that voice popped in our head, bro. Like, I ain't supposed to go this way. My mama gonna kill me. Fuck these niggas killing me, man. Mama gonna kill me. So, you preach the sermon and the sermon will, hopefully stick and the apple won't fall far from the tree. But in today's information age, bro, that whole I'm gonna put parental guidance and block them from sexual content that shit ain't gonna work, bro. It's best to just I ain't saying let them watch, fucking porn, but at the end of the day, they're gonna get to the music, to the movies, and then, help them understand what they seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't gonna be no more blocking YouTube and setting parental guidance. Because as soon as they get on the bus, they're gonna put in somebody else's ear pods, and bam, they got NBA young boy. Now they in love with him because this is why they ain't want me to listen to him because this nigga telling the truth, right? So you don't want to confuse
There was certain things that I remember from my childhood where it wasn't necessarily the police at this time because I was still like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old. I wasn't really thinking about police, but I was more so thinking about the respect that I had for my mother and my father. So when I would go to school and things would happen, they'll tell me, they say, yo, you making us look bad. So it was a certain level of respect that I had for my parents, and that's why I moved the way I did. I don't know if these kids nowadays is really thinking that same way. Like, what you're doing, you're not only making yourself look bad, but you're also making your whole family look bad. So maybe that's, the gray area between them and them communicating with their parents. They losing respect for them.
no, you right on that, Black Day. Their respect for the parents is declining day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, going downwards and downwards. How can we reverse that though?
Right. To me,
I,
that my parents was the illest people. Nobody could be, you know what I'm saying? My dad was the flyest, my mother was the most beautiful. Nobody would come in front of that. It wasn't the rappers, the movie stars, you feel me? Like, that was my first initial respect. It was for my parents.
I think the respect starts with communication and honesty. Because the one thing that my stepson always say is, I respect you because you just keep it a band. Like, it ain't no sugarcoating. If I'm fucking up, you just say straight up, I'm fucking up.
Hey, it's kind of hard too, man. When it comes to like trying to discipline your child and shit, with the CPS rules being guidelines being so strict now, like you can just call like for instance, I whooped my son for being bad one time in school, right? Like he's never bad, so I talked to him for like an hour, and then I spanked him. You know what I'm saying? His grandma called CPS on me because they don't whoop the kids, nothing like that. But you know what I'm saying? That was my first time I ever have having to actually whoop them. You know what I'm saying? So that CPS shit came in. You know what I'm saying? I had to talk to these people, and I'm telling these folks, I'm like, yo, listen, I don't whoop my son. I said I only did it because you know what I'm saying. He's getting out of character, and that's not him. And I talked to him about that. And I told these folks, I said, look, y'all getting on me, but at the same time, God rest the, I said, the dead or whatnot, his mama is in the household and she get high. She do dog food. Y'all ain't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all won't even give me my son type shit. Like what y'all on? They would never give me my son, bro. And I still had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, keep paying child support, and now she gone. You know what I'm saying? All because y'all guidelines so strict. Y'all called my son mother to pass.
Sorry to hear that, my brother.
Yeah, bro, that shit get deep when it comes, like, you know what I'm saying, with this whole CPS shit, bro, just trying to get back to the title, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets weird, bro, when it comes to a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, the actual fathers, bro. Bro, I'm trying to tell y'all, bro, I done talked to these folks over and over and over, like, you know what I'm saying? And they know about my child's mother drug habits, bro. They didn't do anything until she died, bro. Like, that shit still bothers me to this day.
Man, I'm sorry you had to experience that, brother. And you completely right. The vetting process for CPS, DIFUS, they not looking they're not looking at it with an equal eye. They're not looking at the man and the woman the same way. And it's the same thing with the court systems. You feel me? Like, yeah, bro, I'm
Hey,
sorry you had
I had
to.
a business partner that went through there. His baby mama was, he had custody of the kids. You know what I'm saying? So she would always call on him. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back the kids or whatever. So I guess what happened, long story short, he had whipped his son light skinned, so he had some red marks. Long story short, man, he went all the way to prison and had to come back on appeal, man, because the child protective services people was full of vindictive women, and because he will, he spoke well educated and all that type of stuff, they literally put a target on their back and made sure that that man was found guilty of abusing his kids. He ended up winning on appeal, but shit, it took years. You know what I'm saying? And the office was full of women, bro, and they was not trying to help him. And he had full custody of him because the mother was already deemed unfit. Like, that shit is crazy, man. When it comes to the man trying to fight, it's a whole different struggle. But fathers have rights, man. I want all the fathers to know you do have rights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to everybody cooking in here, man. Shout out to everybody, though. Really, yeah.
Shout out to the room, man.
Yes, sir. CMB. Shout out to everybody. We about to end this joint and hop into the motherfucking live radio show. Everybody, let's go.
See you,
Holla,
boom.
holla.
Brrr.